calling back. We're going to try to give her a call again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Step out with this.
2412.
Veteran crisis hotline's calling in, so they have a female veteran's off her medication. She's at work to Safe Haven. Attacking 12, take a check that one out.
6 Rumble, 2 1 star, take a shot.
Officer still stands for talk? No. Offender in custody? Temporary with the... Thanks. Anyone else close, wait to see what's up, let me know. First number. 10-4. Step out with this.
2412.
Veteran crisis hotline calling in, so they have a female veteran's off her medication. She's at work to Safe Haven. Attacking 12, take a check that one out.
6 Rumble, 2 1 star, take a shot.
Officer still stands for talk? No. Offender in custody? Thanks. Anyone else close, wait to see what's up, let me know. 10-5.
33. I'm going to supervisor and now that I have a case report.
1830.
Possible Sheridan and Wilson.
The first number. 10-4. 3746.
Good evening, everybody, and good evening, Trey. What's up, bro? Hopefully
Good evening.
you're doing okay after last night, man. Did you wake up with any stiffness in your back or neck?
Any stiffness?
Yeah, did you wake up with any stiffness in your back and neck? You had quite a few accidents last night. I was just curious how you doing this morning.
Yeah, I mean, I was
I couldn't wait to start the show to ask you that.
I was about to be honest. Anyway, I tussle with people almost every day. It seems like so. I thought it was a legit question. Like maybe I told you something.
No,
Forgot all about
I was waiting all day to ask you that.
The fun part.
Yeah, but now we're getting to the serious part because we wanted to hang out last night and have, just, oh my gosh, man, this last week, there's just so much back and
with
forth. There's so much back and forth. And
for the longest time, I thought all that kind of stopped, to a point.
We even talked about it ourselves in the background. We talked about how it's affected our mental health, even, just because we gotta stay up on the latest, and then we have to, or we might come across, or we get sent a clip or something.
Well, it's like anyway, truth or fiction, and then we have as far as our mental notes of everything that took place and everything that has been searched, and whenever you start, I want to say going down that road. And it's like, man, you start reading stuff, and it's like breaking news.
Yeah, that's the worst part, right? Breaking news, never heard this before, and then you go look at it, and you're like, this is old. Like, what? It's because we all care. You know what I mean?
We wouldn't have been there.
We care, and we care to see if there is a, maybe he did come home. I bring up the case in Cleveland all the time. About how one day we woke up and all of a sudden all three of these missing girls that we didn't even know were part of some kind of connection. All of a sudden we're like, holy crap, three of them? And
then they were there the whole time.
Yeah, just one morning, you just wake up out of the blue. All of a sudden you're getting ready for work, and all you're seeing on the news that they found three of these missing girls, and all at the same house. And it was like, whoa. And so, you kind of wake up and you're like, oh gosh, breaking news. You care too.
Every time I see the breaking news part, I'm like, okay, somebody found something, or they found him. That's what I'm thinking.
Or a sign or something.
Yeah, or like something actually new. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And then to see the bickering back and forth. I don't want to say I see both sides of it, or all. There's anyway, there shouldn't be a side for one, but I see the madness behind all sides. Like somebody say something, I'll take a little bit out of it. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Somebody over here says something, I'm like, that kind of makes sense. But then getting to that point, and it's still hard. Like I told you the other day, I think it was yesterday. I was just seeing everybody go back and forth. It's it literally makes my head spin.
Yeah, and when you care about that, as well, and then you're seeing that stuff taking place, the back and forth. It's the whole reason why we were going to do a show last night, and it was kind of like true crime or or let's just have fun.
Have fun for a
And
minute.
not even, yeah. And it just got, we kind of decided together. It's like, let's just hang out, man. It's especially the last week. It almost seems like within the last week or two,
It's getting heavy.
It is, man.
Or something.
It's almost like you take, because a lot of the back and forth didn't really start, other than a couple people or something. It wasn't like a community. It wasn't a community thing.
Yeah, every once in a while you'd see, like I had an issue with somebody, the way somebody was searching once.
It doesn't, little things here and there, or whatever, where somebody else saying something, but like as a community where you literally like watch all these different programs and you're just like, oh my gosh, is everybody kind of getting lost in the fog? Because bro, I'm still waiting for a reply from TBI about last scene.
You would think that they would respond. At least say like go pound, like at least tell you to go pound dirt or something.
When are you going to be back into the office after the new year? You're going to be back in the office either Thursday, January 2nd, or Monday, January 6th. It's the 13th.
Oh, is that the reply you got?
I haven't got a reply.
Oh, you didn't get a reply.
Nobody's gotten a reply. Has anybody in chat, if you guys have sent, and if you haven't sent out the frickin' letter or email or message, do me a favor, go to my last community post.
Dude, they're straight. The thing is, they're straightforward questions too. Like, it's not like you're asking.
It's everything that they've stated.
Exactly. It's
everything from that they've put out, that they've stated, that is involved in the investigation, and it's all of the inconsistencies in one little nice packaged bow. And it's and the main question, listen, I don't care if it says, listen, it should say dirty blonde hair instead of most of it saying brown. Let's be honest, his hair's dirty blonde. Okay? Let's be honest. All right, it's dirty blonde. I don't listen, whatever. But I'm saying last scene.
The last scene is super important because it literally paints the picture that, or the direction that you need to go, or could go.
It's a huge difference between 3 different areas around Stafford Court and Beach High School and Long Hollow Pike mixed together. It's a lot different than last seen at Mama's house between 9 and 10 p.m., right?
Yeah, it's a big difference.
That's a big difference. And it's a big difference. And when they continually state no foul play, because there can be so many reasons why, listen, I have emails and messages, but it could be this, comments, it could be this. But yes, everybody has to remember they've said no foul play. When you add no foul play into the mix of any of this stuff, there should be no reason why there's not a time of the sighting and the direction or location of the sighting instead of area of Stafford Court.
Man, it's hard to. I've only been like a couple areas, even in areas searching for people where the police are kind of like very hesitant to like work with you, and then like they at least give you little breadcrumbs to go to work off of. Be like, look,
they give you the time and the location if somebody saw them.
Exactly.
They may not put the name on the poster if they're trying to protect the witness. That's fine. We're not asking for Jim Bob's frickin' name and date of birth. What we're asking for is the time he was seen and the location he was seen. And there's a reason why I'm asking that question, because I already have a follow-up response to the 2 responses that any of us can possibly get. And I'm not going to put it out there until I get a response. But I already have my chess move set. It's like, you know what? They need to be honest, because look at this right here. When you issue an Amber Alert on the afternoon of February 27th, an Amber Alert is issued when there's a reasonable belief by law enforcement that an abduction has occurred and the child is in imminent danger of serious bodily injury or death per the Department of Justice. This isn't the frickin' TBI. This is the DOJ.
So it wasn't even issued on the 26th, correct?
He was reported missing on the 26th. The Amber Alert was issued on the 27th.
Okay.
Again, no foul play. What's the time and the location? Because if you're trying to find him, you're trying to, because we watch these little videos, and I'll play them for you since you might not have seen them the other night when I played them. Little 45-second clips, TBI themselves telling everybody how important details matter, how they try and make sure they share all information with the public, especially when it comes to trying to find missing children, and how the public deserves and has the right to know the information. And when it comes to the when it comes to the time and the location of where he was last seen, why is that? Even if there was foul play, even if he was abducted, don't you put a time and location?
Typically. And then even
See what I'm saying?
And I've been part of ones before where it, like, I'm not saying this is Sebastian, but other cases where they say foul play is suspected. Like, they'll even put that out there. Like, they're not really trying to hide. When it comes to a person that's missing, they're pretty, most of the time, they're pretty open about dates, location, like all the information that you need. Like if there was a vehicle involved, direction to travel. Like if they have it, they typically they get that information out there and going.
That's with foul play.
Yeah, that's
and
with foul play.
That's with foul play, and we're talking no foul play. This is why I went through the dispatch the other night, and I wanted people to see, listen, everybody, you're going to hear the locations that are listed and all of the other stuff we showed the night before. We showed the post, who posted it, what part, what department, what date. We went through each one because before I came out with that community post, I wanted people to really see, okay, we're going to go through each post and statement, and I'm going to show you who said it and when they said it. So when you see this community post and you see this letter that I'm sending, and I encourage anybody to send the same letter, because this is all stuff that they've stated, all inconsistencies. And this is why I feel like this sighting on February 26th also came from the same environment where the dog hits and the dog scent trails came up to be nothing. Because these same locations that these different people posted that are involved in the investigation were locations that were mentioned on the dispatch audio radio. When you come out on March 26th, Ken Widener, and you tell the community that there was no dog scent trails or hits for Sebastian Rogers, then why wasn't this last seen on February 26th also taken back like the dog hits? Because until March 26th, Trey, did we not think that these were really dog hits that were taking place?
From
right?
the searcher's perspective, it's like, okay,
right?
Like I don't want to say we got tunnel vision, but you get an adrenaline rush, and you're like, okay, look, the dog's tracked here. This is where the dog jumped in the pond. There's multiple dogs that track to this location, and for some reason the trail gets weird here. So I was like, let's get in this area and let's start knocking it out. I was like, okay, I was like, here's the pond. I was like, if this is the scent, I was like, that scent could be coming upwards or downwards, wherever the water's traveling to or from. I was like, if he's not in this one, I was like, let's check the other retention pond after we search here. I was like, he's got to be here somewhere. And then after we actually got through the thickness of all the misinformation of they did, they didn't, people are saying, left and right, they did or they didn't. I'm like, where did they? I was like, who said this? And like, I was like, because we had the dispatch audio, people were saying, no, the dog's tracked. And I'm like, okay, the dog's tracked. And then people were saying, no, they didn't. And I'm like, So
Yeah.
from our
Yeah.
perspective,
And you're going to be like, hey, they're just saying they didn't track. We've heard from law enforcement that they did. We're going off that information.
correct.
But when March 26 comes up and part of the leader of the search comes out and tells you that there was no dog hit or scent trails for Sebastian Rogers, then that means we have to approach it that there's no dog hits or scent trails because
Comes straight from the horse's mouth.
exactly. Now
Not a rumor from the official. That's where they came from.
Right. You know, it didn't say. Now, when N.Divers first came out, February 26th, he's the one that stated in the area of Stafford Court. Guess who's telling you in the area of Stafford Court? Craddock. Okay. Now, who's buddy? Who got the only invite? Yeah, who got the only invite to the press conference when family wasn't even allowed? It was Mr. Barris. Okay.
I've never heard of.
All right. Their statements line up exactly the same. He's the only one that's getting, the interviews with the people in the investigation. Okay. Now, you look at everybody else's. It's giving you details. It's giving you a location. It's telling you mother heard a thud.
Right.
And said, keep it down. It's telling you key details, little snippets of information, but you get the general from the main. Why is it such a difference? So, of course, any investigation is going to keep things at the vest. It's not our first day. Because if you think they don't, it is your first day. But this is why I sit here and stress this. No foul play. No foul play. If there's foul play, listen, is it an abduction foul play? Yes, it is. Would they still release the time and location if there was an abduction? You know they would. Would a time and location of an abduction hinder an investigation, putting that information out to the public? Not in your wildest effing dreams.
It only helps, man, because most of the time it's like, there's that car. Like that's how you get it. Like you
yeah.
See the silver alerts, amber alerts, everything.
The plates,
notifications on your phone.
Yeah.
Like people look at that and be like, oh, okay. Usually when it's a kid, people actually kind of care, unlike some other alerts that go out. I mean, let's just face it. People are busy and people forget real quick. But typically when it's a kid, they're like, oh, who is this piece of, you know what I'm saying? So they'll actually, most people remember most of the information and be like, even if it's wrong, they'll be like, I think that's that car. And like, they're ready to jump on people. So it typically only helps. I mean, all the time you'll hear, usually like custodial stuff, like the dad has the kid in this vehicle and someone will see him 4 states away.
They have details. And what have we gotten from Craddock? We have no signs or evidence to suggest anything, right?
Yeah, which is weird.
Nothing. Okay. Nothing. And I really feel like they literally don't have anything. Why do I feel that way? Because it was not stationed off and sectioned off like it should have been from the get-go. The house wasn't done like it should have been done. The neighborhood wasn't secured and, secured off for investigators and canine handlers and all that stuff to be able to perform their duties. It was a complete shit show. So when you're walking in to a bunch of shit on the floor, what are you going to do? You're going to slip and fall, aren't you?
Well, that should have been controlled because you don't know.
It was not.
When you go into something like that, you just don't know what it is. So you're supposed to secure the scene. I don't know.
There was none of that. They went in there. Seth was telling you that people were walking in and out. Nobody even stopped him when he walked in. He was able to walk in and talk to Katie, and nobody even stopped him and asked him who he was or what he was doing. You have people out there, and I'm not knocking the neighbors whatsoever. I'd want to do the same thing. I would want to be out there But it's up to people that are in those positions to sit there and go, okay, hold on a second. We need to make sure that we do this right. Can you do us a favor? Please stand on this side of the road. Make sure it's only going to be for a short time. We need to make sure we run the canines through the construction area. We can't have any distractions. Please focus. If you're going to look somewhere, please focus it. Over here, come back here in about an hour. Something, right?
Yeah, it's one of those things too. I love law enforcement, but depending on where you're at, right? Sometimes people are very nice, and sometimes people are, I don't even know, like kind of snappy. But whenever you're in law enforcement, it's good to be able to be able to flip a switch. Like, okay, it's time to work. Sorry, but I don't need you around the scene. We're working this. They should have tried to at least lock it down and said, if you want to help, go back home. Just for the time being.
And what happened? They don't have any, nothing to suggest is what's stated.
Yeah.
Nothing to suggest. Right? Which means they don't have anything. So then again, if you don't have...
Sorry to cut you off.
If you don't have anything, then I'm going to ask again, why is there no time and location of this witness sighting on February 26th, correct?
According to them, but correct.
And if you have no signs of anything, you have no idea, nothing to suggest anything, then why wouldn't you put out that time and location of that sighting? Because that is the only thing that you can do to try and help find Sebastian. And we've already discussed foul play or not when it comes to time and location. So it's another question. Why again, right?
And it still confuses me because if you look at like the original one from Sumner County, it says last seen February 25th on their Facebook page.
Here, let me pull them up.
Sorry, it's hard to, I don't want to say it's hard. It's pretty simple to stay on track, but sometimes with all the dates going flip-flopping back and forth, it is kind of hard to remember what is fact. Well, what should be fact.
Yeah, here. I can go through all the different ones tonight if you guys want to.
Because a lot of people...
I already did it on the show before. No, it's right. Here, hold on. This is what the TBI one says. All right. So as we're going through all these questions, and I'm kind of going through all these different key points, all right? This is what I'm trying to say. This is why I feel I haven't even got a response yet. When people get responses the same day, and we have multiple people that have sent out the same question, and nobody has gotten a response, deflection is what most people are getting. Deflection. Some, like myself, nothing. I haven't even got anything past the initial... You hit a message and you hit send, and all of a sudden, boop, it comes back. Hey, we don't watch this 24/7. That's it. That's all I've got. Nobody else, not one person has got a response yet, and it's been almost 2 weeks. A week and a half, 2 weeks.
They could at least get with you and say, well, I'll have to follow up with you or something. Or something.
This is what I'm saying. When you don't put out a time and location of a last seen sighting, regardless of foul play or not, regardless of if he walked out himself or abduction, regardless of whatever, you don't put out a time and date, or I'm sorry, a time and location of where he was last seen, and you have nothing to suggest anything, you don't. This right here shouldn't read. It should not read last seen on February 26th in the area of Stafford Court, because I don't think he was.
I think it's one of those things they can't give it to you.
I think he this is what I think right here. Okay, and this is from Don Schmidt, the Sumner County Commissioner. And this is what I think is the real statement. This was February 26th from Don Schmidt, Sumner County Commissioner. Last seen February 25th, 2024, and this is what it says right here.
10 p.m.
Sebastian was living with his mother and stepfather when he disappeared on the night of February 25th of 10 p.m. The mother reported hearing a thud from his room, at which point the mother called out to him to keep it down, which he responded. The following morning, he was reported missing. Okay? That's what I really think it is. Now, I have to sit there and ask, if there's no foul play, there's no location, and there's no time of last seen on February 26th, there's not, after 2 weeks, anybody has gotten a reply about this question, well then,
yeah, it kind of gives you the answer in a sense.
Yeah. Because the only other time we've ever heard of these locations, okay, so I'm going to show you, let me see here. I'm going to show you, let's see, let me show you this one. This is also from Don Schmidt. Because on here you have a location, last seen February 26th, near Beach High School. Beach High School, that's a location, right?
Yeah, which kind of puts you in the direction that we were searching from like the get-go.
Okay.
Towards the cemetery.
Now, you also have another location. This is from Sumner County's Sheriff's Office. All right. This location states in the area of Beach Shackle Island near Long Hollow Pike. Right? Wait, okay. Was it? So it was not only Long Hollow Pike, Beach Shackle Island, right? It was also Beach High School. That gives you two directions, right?
Wouldn't that put him on the roadway, kind of?
Almost, yeah. Yeah, Long Hollow Pike is that road that runs along. So you're saying Beach High School.
Correct.
And you're saying Long Hollow Pike, right? So that's two direct. Now, which one was it first, right? Which one was first, the high school or the Long Hollow Pike? Because that makes a difference too, right?
Yeah, big difference.
Yeah, big difference. Let me see here. Where's the other one? Now, this right here, this is where you get the last seen in the area of Stafford Court. Was last seen earlier today in the area of Stafford Court in Hendersonville. You get the area of Stafford Court. Now, when you hear Beach High School and you hear Shackle Island, Long Hollow Pike, okay, in the area. Now, this right here, you don't see last seen earlier today from, you see last seen in the area. So they cut off the earlier today, okay? So in this other statement that has been the last statement, you see earlier today missing. So when you go back to this,
It's a lot of flip-flopping.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, I wasn't prepared to show these.
Oh, no, you're good. I didn't mean you. I just meant the wording.
They're all in different spots. Here we go. So then when you go to this, last seen earlier this morning in the area of Stafford Court. So when the only time you know of, because you hear those locations on the dispatch audio, just like you hear the dog hits. See what I'm saying? Those locations that are mentioned in the other post, name those locations that are in the dispatch audio. So the whole time I've been asking, and this is what I've been feeling about this last scene on February 26th. This is what I've been feeling. Last seen on February 26th, if you took the dog scent trails and you took the dog hits back because you found out that activity that took place was not, in fact, for Sebastian, and the witness sightings of the locations that are being used in these different statements are, in fact, not sightings of Sebastian, because when you tell the public you don't have anything to suggest, well, that means nobody saw him going in a damn direction, right?
Correct.
So why would they want to continue to put out last seen on February 26th, 2024 in the area of Stafford Court if in fact the time and the location didn't exist? Because there's no reason not to put out the time and location, and if the time and location don't exist, right? Well, then that means that that sighting was not for Sebastian Rogers. If the sighting's not for Sebastian, go ahead, buddy.
I was like, if the sighting was actually Sebastian, there'd be a lot more to that, especially with them saying the dogs didn't track.
So why would, if we really are about finding Sebastian, why would we not want the correct information on there, whether it be the time and the location of his last sighting and the direction, or why would it not go back to last seen in his residence on the night of February 25th, where Don Schmidt says, Mom yelled back, "Keep it down." And we'll go back to that. Why would it not go back to this?
If you go off of that, anyway, if you go off of the 25th, then that leaves one person seeing him last. So then,
yeah. Because if you're trying to find him,
yeah,
don't you either want the information to be like 100%, whether it was him being seen at a certain time that morning, at a certain location that morning, foul play or not? If he really was seen, and if he wasn't seen, if you really are truly about finding him, wouldn't you want then to take your statement back to what we see right here? If you really are trying to find him.
Yeah, if you're seriously trying to find him, there would be no harm in saying, look, here's the correct information. This stuff over here is redacted, and this is the correct info. I mean,
it's really troubling when you see that none of us have gotten a response in almost 2 weeks. Isn't that troubling, bro?
It's more than troubling. It gives you
no answer is an answer, isn't it?
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but whenever you're getting keywords, key dates, sightings, mixed information from the horse's mouth, I'm more confused. Anyway, I'm more confused trying to decipher this than I am reading through the YouTube streets of the drama. At least sometimes creators put out some stuff that makes sense.
And you know what we have today? I'm going to show you a post I retweeted. And as, you know, this is what I'm saying. What's the reason why it didn't go back to this? Because this is why I feel, and I'm saying it, and I've been feeling it, and I've been saying it, and this is why I wanted to do a couple shows to really explain to people where I'm coming from. This is why I feel they've been using the dispatch audio for the last sighting. And why would you do that if you're not doing what we're talking about? Because you want to have that fog, no? You want to have that fog. Foggy. You want to have that fog. You want to have it, say, in the area on the next day, don't you?
History doesn't always repeat itself, but there's a reason whenever something happens to certain people, they look at the husband. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
there's usually trends, like the last person to see somebody.
Studying is knowledge based off of experience and time that already took place. That's what you're doing. You are studying what somebody already did and messed up and tried a billion times, and it's been going on for a hell of a long time. It's experience. That's when you're studying, you're trying to learn. This is what you're, it's sad when you see these other cases in Tennessee, and it's like, oh, it's another production of the same three letters. You know what I'm saying? Even Summer Wells.
I don't want to.
Poof! Just disappear.
I'm already on the naughty list, so I may as well just.
Which way did she go, George?
Go down that road. Yeah, which way did she go, George? The track record's not so good when it comes to handling certain information. Or processing scenes, I guess. But I can't put that on them, but...
Well, that's why it's important to have, and this is why we're asking and have been asking this whole question when it comes to the statement of last seen February 26th. That's fine. You don't have to put a location. What time? Right? What direction? That doesn't hinder any investigation. So when there's fog there already, and there's still fog as we continue to wait for a reply, and if anybody hasn't sent the letter, just go to my community post section. It's the last one on there. Click read more, and you'll see what you can send to all law enforcement agencies. All you have to do is copy and paste it and send it off on all the different platforms or whatever, because this is information that Sebastian deserves to have out there. Sebastian deserves to have the time and the location, if there is a time and the location. Sebastian deserves to have it say last seen on the correct information, not information that is general, that doesn't. It's a disservice to Sebastian. Either one. If there's no sighting, it's a disservice that it doesn't say this right now. If there is a sighting, it's a disservice that there's no time and location. It's a disservice to Sebastian. Because if if that was you got children, I do too. I know if it was mine, I'd be asking the same question, and that's why I've been asking it the last couple weeks and screaming it at some points, because I know if it was mine and somebody saw my baby, you better guarantee there better be a fucking time and a location on that flyer.
Yeah, not the flip-flop mixture of what we got here.
Think about it. Any of you parents out there, think about it. Hell, you got a brother and sister, mother and father, grandma and grandpa, if any of them went missing and there was no time or location and you didn't even like,
Yeah, there'd be hell to pay.
Grandpa was last seen February 26th in the area of such and such, but grandma was the last one to see him go to bed. You know, like, hey, it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter. This is the world. This is like beyond just a specific child. This could literally be any of your loved ones, anybody that you love, even if you're not related to them, and they go missing. And they don't put a time and a location if there's a last seen, or they don't take it back to last seen in the residence the night before, we got a effing problem.
I went to look for a elderly man up in Rockford, and the daughter had visited him like, I think 2 days prior. So I'm gonna get this mixed up, but 2 days prior in his living room, and they put that down as she was the last person to see him inside his residence. They gave the apartment address. Obviously, they didn't give his actual address, but they gave the complex address. They gave the vehicle that he was driving, the clothing that he was wearing the day that the daughter had seen him. Like, they actually gave, who seen him last, gave really important information. And they even put down that there was no cameras, like, in or around the complex. Like, a lot of information. And then a group went up there and found him. So, and they even put down, like, what areas had been searched, and they kept, like, updating the areas that had been searched.
It's not about a CalTopo map. It's about law enforcement. This is what it's about. And does it have a time? No. Law enforcement. Whoops, wrong one. Sorry, hold on.
You're good.
Here it is. Law enforcement needs to put it on this. If it was... Do you guys think it's not a... when none of us have gotten a reply, and the ones that have gotten a reply get redirected to leave a if we have a tip, to leave it on a tip line, and it's like, it's not a tip, it's a question. You just answered another question a couple days ago, and yes, last seen on February 26th, thank you. And that was like a couple hours later. It was within the same day. But these people are getting redirected to tip lines, and this, it's like, it's not a tip. This is a question. Don't you think it's kind of interesting? Not one of us have gotten a reply.
I don't think they can.
Because it can't deviate from this. That's why.
Like, if it comes, especially if, obviously, if they reply, then it's kind of gonna, I don't want to say it's gonna seal the deal, but it's gonna lock them into.
They can't deviate. Yeah. They have to be locked into what's stated right there.
You get the,
because we just got another statement right at the end of December. Again, they sat down again with Mr. Barris. Sat down again, did a lengthy little sit down. Both of them, Ken and Craddock.
I mean, at least this, not to
saying
say
the
this
same
is
thing.
good, but they have this, all the information out here that varies, so it doesn't lock them into anything.
Right, that's
So
why it's kept in the area of Stafford Court. They're not locked into Beach. They're not locked into Long Hollow.
And depending on in what direction this could ever go, but they're not, I don't want to say they're not held responsible, but you could come out looking good either way.
It covers all bases, bro.
You could come out looking good either way.
Besides covers all bases.
It being this long.
Mm-hmm. You don't even put white stripes on the black sweatpants. Isn't that a key The key part too. The white stripes.
Is the white stripes in a video?
Oh, I mean, Katie's came out and said it multiple times.
Okay,
Seth, everybody said it. White stripes on the pants. That's one of the things when they bring up the pants is the white stripes. Why is that not even on this right here? You know, like, and I don't think you've seen these. I'll play these little. Because I got some more stuff to get into, but I'll play these little clips, and this is themselves talking about how details matter and how sharing it with the public and any information that can help searchers and all sorts of stuff, right? Oh, it's gold. Listening to it, and it's like, well, okay, but why are we not doing it in this case right here? Here, hold on. I'll drop the links for you too. One of two.
When a child goes missing in Tennessee, it's important that law enforcement is notified immediately so we can start the process to assist. Once TDI is notified, we have the capabilities to start the process of notifying the public. Because in these missing kid cases, anytime a child goes missing, it's important to get that information out to the public immediately through our media, through alerts that go off on cell phones, as well as making sure that all law enforcement are aware so they can be looking in the area for the child.
Right. So how come when he was last seen on February 26th, why isn't somebody stating on February 26th at this time, at this location? Because it's all about the information to the public so they can help find these missing children.
I don't want
the details.
I don't want to lock this and blame anyone, so I won't. But I will just say, not pointing fingers. This is Tennessee, not Illinois. I live in Illinois, but if you're a dispatcher, 911 communications, when someone puts in a missing persons report or says, "Hey, I can't find my kid," like you would immediately send units, but you're going to start getting your cat out, and then you're going to be putting out at least to the surrounding county, like a bolo. Be on the lookout. You may not do it all statewide at first, but you can at least do that as a dispatcher and put out a bolo so all counties, all towns get the alert. So that way there's a broadcast and they at least know. And then if there's more to it, you can always come back and say, "Hey, found," or updated information, and the officer will whoever takes lead will direct you on what they want you to put out officially. But you could put out an initial bolo for the kid. And I don't know if that happened or if it didn't, but
And with law enforcement not even mentioning the stripes on the statement, that is a big difference. That's a huge difference, especially when you're trying to find the missing kid, because you're going to remember white stripes before anything. So yeah, when it's missing on the statement from law enforcement, when the mother, the father, the stepfather have all came out and said publicly that there was white stripes on the pants, and it's not listed in the statement from law enforcement, it just says black sweatpants. That's a problem. Just like she said, key details. We'll go to the next one.
I never seen that video, by the way.
Oh, this is real. This one's even better. This is why details matter. Check this one.
Anything that we can provide the public up front, or if we have search teams that are out looking immediately after a child.
Anything we can provide the public up front. Yeah, he was last seen over here at 11:36 in the morning going this direction. All right.
Yep.
No?
Get you the direction of travel. Clothing description.
Yeah. Foul play or not. Foul play or not.
Anything that we can provide the public up front, or if we have search teams that are out looking immediately after a child goes missing, the more information that we can give the search teams or law enforcement, hopefully the quicker we're going to find the child.
See what I'm saying?
That's typically what happens.
You see what I'm saying?
Man.
Dude, if I was any of the parents, I'd be telling law enforcement. I'd be telling law enforcement, because like I said, what if that was your child? You heard this. This is TBI. You heard this from TBI about the why the details matter and information and people out there searching for your missing child. And you don't want to put out a time and a location? How would that make you feel?
Dude, putting out an alert is like, I don't want to say it's one of the first damn steps, but like usually when something like this is happening, like at least from my experience, the dispatcher's like answering the radio, trying to jot down all the information, putting in all the times, checking on all the units, asking if they want more resources coming, and then they're trying to punch everything in, make sure it's all correct, and then hit enter. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because usually when people are talking, it's like fast and they gotta, try and type it. But this was already doubled down again on the last statement about him being last seen in the area of Stafford Court.
No time. I don't know.
No location,
but like a shift sergeant or somebody.
Where is it on this statement? Because if you're trying to find him, don't you want, like she said, hopefully quicker we're going to find the child, the more information that we have. Well, why is there no time and location? Foul play or not?
Yeah, well, either way, it wouldn't. I don't want to say it wouldn't matter, but at that point, it's about processing the information. So whether it was foul play or not, you would want to get all that out. I mean, you'd want it out there.
And look at this. This is what was shared today on Twitter. Let me scoot it over a little bit. January 13th, which is today, is designated as National Amber Alert Awareness Day to bring awareness to child abductions. Tennessee has 6 active Amber Alerts, which can be found here. You click here. Forbidden. Yeah, look. I'll go right back here. I click on this. Opens up the page. Forbidden.
Is it? That's weird. Can you get the full URL to see what it says, or is it broke?
Here. It's here it is right here.
Missing child alerts HTML.
Oh, hold on. Let me hover over it so you can you see it now? Yeah, it's got
like dot's broke.
Yeah, there's a ... So maybe get rid of the ...
Remove the dots and one of the forward slashes. And
it won't let me though, because as soon as I click on it, you actually have to type the whole thing out. You have to type the whole thing, because if I click on it, it takes me to just the
broke.
Yeah, the broken.
Let's see. I'll try www.tn.
Too bad they didn't come out with an updated statement today, considering it's National Amber Alert Awareness Day. Let me know when you need the. I can. Here, I'll hover on the other side now.
We're sorry, the page you requested was not found.
Still? Even by typing it all out?
Let's see. www.tn.gov /active-missing-child-alerts
Yep.
I'm gonna try the .html, but I don't think it's
All
gonna fix it.
Okay.
No, it still didn't fix it.
And it says, with truth, bravery, and integrity, we're proud to serve as the state's lead investigative agency. So, quote, that guilt shall not escape nor innocence suffer. What the hell's going on with this missing persons case with Sebastian Rogers and the lack of information?
Let me just try doing a Google search.
I shout out a lot of LE that whoop ass, and I do call out the LE that fumbaloo as well. Because it is about truth and justice for all these victims that are out there. Because just like we've talked about, if this was our missing child, you better have the effing time and location on that. You better have the white stripe on the sweatpants. You better have what, you know?
I have the URL.
All right. You got it up? Can you share it, or you want to send it in the link to the private chat? Or
I'll send it in the private chat.
All right.
That's weird how it was.
All right. So here's the link. Thank you.
You're welcome, man. I'm surprised that they didn't.
Oh, you know why? Because it doesn't have Tennessee missing children. It went from TBI to active, so it's the missing dash. It's Tennessee's dash missing dash children in the middle that they didn't include. So here's that for you guys.
You think they would check their work?
Maybe I need to apply, huh?
Man, you wouldn't want to. In my opinion, in the jobs I've had, I would never want to work for anyone again.
At least they'd have. Never mind. And we have right here. Yeah, I'm not gonna say.
I know what you're gonna say.
Oh, but yeah. Here's Sebastian's one of them. Okay.
At least the website is up, but then they should fix that because there are a lot of people on X. I wonder if anybody said like, "Hey, your link's broke."
Probably. I don't know. I didn't check it. I have to imagine because it was broke for us. So February 26th. But it's about the information, you know. It's again. I'll let this lady say it herself.
The thing is, a lot of law enforcement work is clerical work. Just kind of where it's at.
I don't. This is more than clerical.
Well, I'm just saying, like, document.
I think it's almost like there's fog for a reason, bro. You know what I mean?
I 100% know what you're saying. In a sense, I mean, if it, I don't know how to explain it, but misinformation. Be careful where you get who your sources are, where you get your information from, credible sources, and then the confusion that gives me a headache and makes me spin is from reading through everything that they put out, which is good. I mean, it's good for them if you're trying to figure out what narrative you actually want to go with later on, in my opinion. Or if something else were to come out. I don't know. But it makes it hard to search and it makes it hard to figure out what's actually true.
There's only 2 responses any of us can get, and I already have responses to those responses already in my head from when I made the first letter. Because there is no reason that there is not a time and a location. And I'd be speaking up. Because if it was me, I'd be speaking up. I'd be like, look, you need to put the time and location on there. Especially when you have that many people. Think about it. Think about, this is what I was telling somebody the other day. I was like, think about all the other missing children out there, right? That never got the attention, that never had the amount of searchers searching for their child, that never had the shows talking about their child being missing. Think about those parents, right? When it comes to the whole time and location, foul play or not, because there's no reason. You can't give me a foul play reason why a time and a location shouldn't be on there, even if there was foul play. What kind of foul play would make it okay to not put a time and location on a missing child's statement? Think about it. So think about all the parents that don't get the attention. Think about all the parents that don't have all those people out there searching for their child. And think about them going through this same BS, bro.
Yeah,
where they have to sit there and they don't even have the people that Sebastian does, and they have the same shady ass shit going on to them. How are they supposed to feel? This is why I say it's about the world, because this is more than just Sebastian's case. If this is happening to another family, this right here is happening to another family that doesn't have all those people out there for their child like Sebastian does, it's for them too.
I guarantee. I don't want to say worse, but yeah, if this is in the spotlight. Sebastian is in the spotlight, and they know everything is being looked at, critiqued with the magnifying glass. You would think that they would want it to at least appear 90%. So the ones that truly don't have a voice because they don't have the spotlight.
It's why we need that. It's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And people are like, why does it fucking matter? And I'm like, it does matter. It matters to the mom out in freaking middle of Montana.
Yep.
That doesn't have people volunteering their time to go out and search for their child. And they have law enforcement giving the public shady ass shit.
Because something like this is in your face.
How are they supposed to feel? Right. So when we're bringing attention to this, we're bringing attention to all of the other family members that are going through this same BS right here that don't have the movement Sebastian does. This is why this matters. This is why this makes a difference. People that want to sit there and be like, it doesn't matter. What's the big freaking deal? You know what? Go hang out in your own fucking room. You know what I'm saying? Because you obviously ain't about doing it for the right reason, because the right reason is for all communities, not just one. When we're going out there, bro, we're not doing it just for Sebastian. We're doing it for all communities. Because what we are doing might inspire somebody else to go out and give their all in an area that they're close to, that they can help make a difference, because we are only one and we can only be in one spot at one time. It's about creating the vibe and the energy so people go, they pick up on it, and they can do it in their communities too. They can travel the couple hours or do something in their community. You know what I'm saying? And so when you're looking at this, yes, to some people, it may not matter to you. And I would hate that if you're a parent of a child, that's how you feel.
If it doesn't matter to them, that they just don't get it, then
I feel bad for their child. Because to have a parent like that wouldn't want to stand up and slam their foot down and say, What time and location was my child last seen, and why is it not being put out there to the public? That's a problem.
It's a big problem.
And I wasn't saying this stuff when I made the post. I'm saying it after 2 weeks of people mailing this out and sending it to messages. Nobody's getting an effing reply. You know why? Because they can't. You know why they can't? Because they can't deviate away from last seen in the area of Stafford Court on February 26th. We know people make mistakes. You can take back stuff. We know, just like the dog hits, we know they didn't end up being false. Were we jumping down? Was the community flipping out? No. They accept it because it's part of an investigation. You may go down one road and it may not turn out to be this and da 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 da. We get it. We're human. We all make mistakes, but damn it. Get rid of it if it don't exist.
From the very beginning, man, literally. I don't want to say I don't want to say it, but when this is the kind of investigation that you get and the information that gets out there, it's like, I see why Sebastian hasn't been found.
Yeah.
I hate to say it like that, but just the truth. It's like, when is enough going to be enough? Tennessee already has a damn crisis of missing kids left and right, and no one really seems to give a damn. And whenever you do voice your honest opinion about something, it's misinformation, or you should really look into this, where you're getting your information from, or the source, however they were winging their verbiage. But just because someone's putting out information, you might read it one time and say, okay, that makes sense. Then you look at it again and you don't realize that the date's a little off. Okay, that makes sense. You just take it for black and white. But if you were the person that is missing, or your loved one was missing, wouldn't you want it to be factual information that's out there in hopes for the best outcome that maybe possibly someone might have...
Especially the time and the location.
Because then people can reflect back on that morning and stuff, like just a million different things. Like, wait a minute, I was around that area this time, or I was drinking coffee at this time, whatever it is. It's disheartening and it's sad, because we're coming up on an entire year that Sebastian has not been here. No idea where he's at. I'm talking about misinformation. It's right in front of you. Not me and CJ, but in writing from the officials. So you would think that they would want to put out factual information and say, this is what it is. This is where we messed up, something. And then not have a monopoly when it comes to press releases.
It's called practice what you preach.
There you go.
Because when you preach this right here, what we saw as the statement is ridiculous.
Anything that we can provide the public up front, or if we have search teams that are out looking immediately after a child goes missing, the more information that we can give the search teams or law enforcement, hopefully the quicker we're going to find the child. If a child has a blanket, that might be something that sticks out. When we put this out to the public and we can give them something to look for.
Even a blanket, but we can't put a time or a location. A time and location are two of the most important facts that you can put on a missing person's statement, are they not? Time and location.
It's the most crucial. I mean, it's the most crucial information.
Do I think he was abducted? Yes.
Oh yeah, in my opinion, I think someone got him in a car, and boom, that's why there was no scent, no track.
Yeah, I think somebody walked in his back door. Just because you woke up and it was locked doesn't mean it was accidentally left unlocked. How when it comes, I don't want to. So I'm just going to use an example. Let me know. I don't know if yours are old enough or not, but teenage years, 10 to, probably 15, 16. Did you lock the door? Yeah, Dad. And then I would go change some laundry or something, and then I'd look over at the door, the back door, and I'd look at it, and I'm like, oh, she didn't lock it again.
Right.
That's what I think took place. So just because you woke up with the door locked doesn't mean you fell asleep with it. Because who took out the trash? Supposedly Sebastian. How many times did I ask my daughter to take out the trash? It was a chore. How many times was she supposed to lock the door when she came back in from taking the trash out? Every time. Did she tell me plenty of times that she locked it? And sometimes she did, and sometimes she just said yeah because she was just being a teenager and didn't want to go back and turn around and go lock it. Of course. So just because it was locked, listen, the window was locked from the inside. There was no forced entry. What else does that tell you?
Dude, I don't know what lock they had. When I lived in Florida, I lived with a group of people. We had an app for the lock. Anyway, if you left it unlocked for a certain period of time, it would go and lock on its own.
Well, I mean, the keypad ones, there's a button that you can hit the lock button, but think about it. Because it's a dark neighborhood. You've been there at night. It's a dark ass neighborhood, right?
Right. You can't see. Yeah.
Right. So you got middle to upper class. You've been in that. You've been in the areas. You see how
it's nice.
Right. All right. Do you not think that there's people walking around in fucking backyards checking door handles? You know what I'm saying? Any kind of predator. It can be somebody that's coming in to assault somebody. It can be somebody that's coming in to take something. It can be somebody that's
testing the waters.
Anybody, right? It can have any of those different scenarios. That neighborhood right there, middle to high, I don't know. That's why when I first was there and I was like, holy crap, they need to come up with some kind of city program to fund street lights around here. Because with all of those nice houses and stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like they need to like reach out to their city council or something, and get some kind of program going for it, because it's like
I've had, my friends had some neighborhoods like that, and that were built in the 80s, and the only ones that had lights were the ones that had like Ameren or the electric company come in and install a pole, but then you had to pay for that pole or that light, like $15 a month or something.
Yeah, what do you get the lights for? To cut down on, not only so you can see, but also it's to light up the area so there's not as much
people
negative activity going on. So when you're looking at it, we've already came to the conclusion, a long time ago, he didn't walk out of the house. Even, I think
it dawned on us.
I mean, even though we were still searching, like he walked out of it, I still, in my mind, even though you're searching, really in the very beginning, you're believing he walked out, even though it was kind of a suspicious circumstance.
Yeah, it was odd, but I'm like, the police are saying this. I'm like, let's search. Like, let's knock this out and search. Like, he's here somewhere. It's got to be.
But after you're out there for a couple weeks and you're there longer and you keep coming and then even though you're still searching like he walked away, you're not searching in your head like he walked away because your head's already exploring in something else. Because as you're knocking out this spot and this spot and that spot, and then other people are knocking these different spots out, then you're starting to go, okay, if somebody did walk away, there would be something.
As soon as I learned that there was like 1,200, 1,300 people that searched, we seen the map, I'm like, I don't know.
It's huge. Yeah, I know.
Like, it's a lot of people.
It's almost overwhelming to look at the search map and see all the areas that have been searched. You know, it's like, whoa,
if you have
that's a lot.
All the tracks open at the same time. This is when I had access to it. Literally, it'll be like you have to unclick some of them, like the days 1, 2, and 3. You have to unclick it so it can load. And it would most of the time it wouldn't work on your phone. You'd have to be on a PC unless you wanted to sit there for a couple of minutes.
No, we're not. No, this was back in May when we were done with certain searches. Because we started in March, trade and started right at the start of April. We met up at that time, and then we've continued to go out there through, the whole almost year or whatever. But what we're saying is we came to that conclusion. Well, I know you kind of differ on a little bit of it, but really what we both came to the conclusion of
was getting mad at
that he didn't walk away. He didn't walk out of the house. Now, whether it's this or it has to do with that, we can differ a little bit.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the main point of did he walk out of that house, we both came to that conclusion. It took me 9 months ago. You know what I mean?
It took me a little bit longer to change my viewpoint on that.
It did, because at first,
I get up kind of hard headed when it got like, okay, like I believe. How do I phrase this? But I try to look at the good in everybody, right? And like just because something seems off or something, like I take my biases away, throw them out the back, and it's like, okay, I'm here to help. What needs searched? Then after you do that and do it over and over again, and then you learn of more information that comes out, and then the dogs did not track, according to the emergency management director, it's like, okay, now we have a totally different ball game. So,
yeah, and we're coming from the area. We're coming from the area not only where we have dug into information, but we've also been out there in different locations doing different types of searches, working with other individuals, stuff like that, where it's not just an opinion that's based off of us sitting in a chair and looking at a computer screen. It's based off of a lot of our own searches, really, because how am I supposed to know if I'm not out there, trying to, because the areas that we searched, like, I don't know how you would have made it past where we searched without shoes.
I was going to say, especially barefoot.
I don't understand.
I know people had spun narratives about having a higher pain tolerance and certain things, but man,
he didn't like. He had to wear shoes outside because of fire ants. So there was no pain. If there was pain tolerance, I mean, fire ants are nasty, but so are those thorns out in the thick brush too. Those thorns are pretty nasty too, and you're talking about all sorts of stuff out there too, rocks and slippery areas. I mean, shoot, I can't imagine if we didn't have boots out there, man. You had to have boots. You had to protect your feet. And when you're thinking about somebody walking without shoes, so it's not just we're not taking, you know, maybe she mentioned it a couple days ago. No, this is something that, you know, when we were done with those searches and I was driving back home, I'm like, there's nothing else that makes sense. He had to be abducted or something scandalous went down inside and then he was taken somewhere, but basically he was taken. He did not walk away. And then, you know, with, you know, as time has gone on, it just gets stronger and stronger.
I don't want to say there's proof in the pudding, but if the dogs didn't track anywhere, then a vehicle would have had to been involved.
Time tells you, you know. Time tells you, and just like no answer is an answer too, no reply to the simple question is an answer as well, especially when multiple people have sent the same question. When multiple people send the same question and nobody gets a reply, that's an answer to me, especially after a couple weeks. It means nobody wants to answer it. And why is that? Oh shit, because people took the different inconsistencies of all the statements that were put out and are putting our feet to the fire. They weren't supposed to do that. They were just supposed to go off the one statement that he was last seen on February 26th. They weren't supposed to do all this other stuff. And damn, what do we answer?
I'm happy we have screenshots of all this. I keep waiting to look and want them to be changed. So far, I haven't found that yet.
Well, there is one, and this is why. Again, this is why I feel like this one is the one that really tells the truth. Not only the date, but also the details. Because I don't know what interview have you heard Katie say to keep it down? The interviews I've heard, are you okay? Are you okay? Love you, Mom. Love you, puppies. Are you okay?
Yeah,
When did we hear keep it down?
What? Was it a statement? Man, there's so much.
Right here. This is why I'm showing it. A thud from his room, at which point the mother called out to him to keep it down.
Did she ever say, I'm asking a question, this isn't a statement. Did she ever say, I don't know what you're doing in there? Or did I come up with that in my own head?
I don't remember that.
I'll have to go through the interviews.
I think you know what I think she did one time, and I think she said he said nothing, Mom, go to bed, right? Is that what you're thinking?
Something like that, but I don't know if
There was one where she said something to that effect of what you're saying, and then her response was, yeah, and then he said, nothing, Mom, go to bed. And that's
something like that.
I was like, wait, he's saying go to bed to her? But no, this is we've never heard keep it down on any of those interviews. It was always are you okay? You know, or what the one thing that you mentioned right there. Never heard keep it down.
Which he responded.
Right. And this is why I said I feel like this statement from Don Schmidt, the Sumner County Commissioner. This is why I feel he actually talked to somebody that was leading whatever was going on down there, and they reported to him this information right here based off of an interview with Katie when they showed up, because I feel this right here was the first response she gave to what took place last night. And then after that,
that almost looks like it's out of her report, doesn't it?
It does.
Like the way the verbiage is.
Like the officer's like, all right, not right off the report, but it's a generalized
but just the general
part
notes.
of it. Yeah. All right, what's the key details? All right, Sebastian, hold on 1 second. Sebastian was living with his mother and stepfather when he disappeared. The mom said last night around 10 p.m.
Because they're narrowing it down.
Yeah, she thought she heard a thud, and she said back to keep it down, and then he responded. So it said he responded, and then so that they took out that little part, just the top half of that paragraph, right? And it really looks like it comes from a police statement of when the first officer asked Katie, what took place last night? What time was it? This and that, this and that. And then after that, oh shit, that's not going to sound good. Keep it down. That ain't going to sound good, is it? Think about it. What would you think if you heard her on her interviews, or any parents of a missing child on their interview, and they said, yeah, around 10 p.m. last night, because that's the last time, right? Around 10 p.m. I was like, keep it down.
You better have a good tone.
Bro. Even if you said, well, last night I reached out to him and I said, keep it down.
Yeah.
People are going to be like, huh? Why wouldn't you go check if you heard a thud? You're going to say, keep it down instead? That causes a red flag that waves up in the freaking air.
I always thought it was odd that you would even say that you heard a thud. That just
when
me
you
speculating.
Have a child that has a chest plate, you go check. You go check, period. Listen, I would go to her room door, knock on the door if I heard something, especially when she's supposed to be sleeping. I would go knock on the door and be like, are you okay? Now, I'm not going to open it because, you know what I'm saying, is my daughter. Who knows? But she'll open it if she's, you know.
We had different.
Well, yeah,
my uncle would just be like,
I always wanted a boy, but
he just swing the door open and he'd be like,
yeah,
it's time to be good.
Yeah, it's it's different when you're a boy.
That's
you
true.
know what I'm saying? But with my daughter, it was, you know, you got to respect her privacy as well. So, but no, that's what I would do if I heard a noise, especially a thud. I'm gonna knock on the door and make sure she says, "Yeah, Dad." Or if I don't hear a response, then I'm gonna crack the door open after a minute or two, and just, okay, is she sleeping, or is she freaking knocked out on the floor? Right?
Yeah, roll off the bed. That's happened.
So it's one of these things. It was like you hear a thud and then keep it down. That's a huge red flag automatically, and that's why I feel like you don't even see that anymore. So again, why is this not included in the statement as well? Why isn't it included that on the night of February 25th at 10 p.m., the mother reported hearing a thud from his room, and at which point the mother called out to him to keep it down? Why is that not in the statement? It's almost like, I don't want to say it really, because I hate saying shit like this, because
I know where you're leaning into.
Dude, I'm like pro freaking LE all fucking day, man. Like I go beyond when it comes to my support from what people see when it comes to our law enforcement, because really, like, without them, we couldn't even do what we're doing. Any of them that I come across, you can see it on my lives. I thank them for their service, everything. But when it comes to this right here, and I'm putting myself in that parent's position, and I'm like,
there's good and bad in everybody, man. That's what, and people take one comment towards something and run with everybody, you know, paint that narrative.
Well, it's the one moldy fruit that's in a bowl full of, you know, You can have a bowl full of beautiful oranges, and if one of them's got some mold on it, it don't take very long until the rest of them have mold on it too. You just have to choose what bowl you're going to kick it in.
Yeah.
Because it don't take long. Did you hear about the Uvalde statement that came out a couple days ago?
No.
Okay, Uvalde was some of the they came out there before I think they were out there before the Cajun Navy. Because they were out there, right?
Heard of Uvalde.
Yeah, they were out there in the beginning. You guys, and thank you all for being here. And thank you for your likes. And yeah, please stay respectful in chat because I don't do that shit over here. Because it is all about respect, number one, and then people can agree to disagree. I think they were out there before the United Cajun came out there. The Navy came out there, but they came out with a statement a couple days ago, and it's sad. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to missing child's case, and you see this going on. Hold on one second. Let me move us over here real quick, and then is there a way that I can hold on? I can't zoom it up more, so. It says January 11th, 2025 for immediate release. This is the Uvalde Foundation for Kids. 9 months since ending its own search for missing Sebastian Rogers, nonprofit breaks silence. And what it says is, since our foundation's formal departure from aiding in the search for this precious young man, we have received dozens of inquiries and even challenges to our decision because they departed back then. Previously, this is from them. Previously, I personally released a formal statement on behalf of the foundation in this regard. Indeed, much has happened in the days since. Now, they backed out long time ago. I think they backed out right as you guys were getting there.
I may have read something from them.
It was right around that same time. So this is all the way back then. Now it says, indeed, much has happened in the days since. Most importantly, Sebastian is still missing, while families and children, including my own, across this nation gathered to celebrate another Christmas season around the tree. Sebastian remained missing. And as the world said farewell to another year, more hope for Sebastian to be located safely also has been waved farewell by many. And still, Sebastian remains missing. Sadly, as our foundation has now observed the case from afar these past several months, I must admit that we remain steadfast and perhaps even more so secure in our decision to pull our involvement. As theories, false narratives, finger pointing, downright lies, politics, false leads, and public manipulation of the case have abounded, Sebastian remains missing. And that's one of the things that we discussed in the beginning of the show about all of those things, especially this last week, that we're seeing on all these different channels now. That some you might not have seen it on before, but you're definitely seeing it now. And it's just like, it's
bad, man. Like
it's just crazy, and it's sad that there's, and I know a lot of you guys are there because you care and you want to just help, and you have to like sit there from people that you might even love, and they're exposing you to this toxicity and the mudslinging and stuff. I apologize to you all on behalf of their asses because they won't apologize to you all, but I will, because that's why we try and do the shows that we do, because we don't want you to have to take time out of your day or your night or on replay and have to hear the same negativity and the same mudslinging and the same spewing and the same toxicity and all of that, because really it doesn't do any good, and honestly it doesn't even help trying to get to the goal that we're all trying to get to, and that's to help all of these victims, families, and communities.
It makes it cloudier than it already is.
And
I apologize for any things that I've said in the past, like getting heated because somebody said something negative.
No.
Or because I didn't like the way somebody was doing something. That's not my place.
Sometimes you have to defend yourself, bro, because there's a lot of pieces of shit out there.
Oh yeah, there's a
where
time
they
and place,
they don't like the people that are trying to do the right thing and go about it the right way, so they make shit up about them to try and discredit them, so then people don't, it's an ego thing. But that's the thing over here. You can't do the kind of work that you do and have that kind of ego. You have to be a humble person in order to do what we're doing, And so that's why you have listen, we have to call it out sometimes. It's just the way it is.
Oh, it's going to happen eventually.
But it's not a thing where we're doing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 every frickin' night. You know what I mean? Sometimes we got to address it. And we move
time and energy
on.
We could put forward into looking at other cases as well. That's the thing.
Yeah. So when it comes to Uvalde here, it says, sadly, as our foundation has now observed this case from afar, when it comes to all of this stuff, the theories, the false narratives, the finger pointing, downright lies, politics, false leads, public manipulation. The true focus on locating Sebastian has been lost a long time ago, and our foundation cannot take part in the melee that has been created. The family itself rejected offers to aid. And that's what's going on, and I know I don't have to apologize, but I'm doing it anyway because it's the same thing. The true focus when you're going to these places, and this is the stuff that they just keep entertaining, the same mucky water over and over and over. The true focus on locating Sebastian was lost. And I know that you guys care, and that's why you're there. But the fact that people that are in our positions should know better, because I care about you all. I know Trey cares about both of our communities. We're kind of mixed together. We care. We care about your guys' mental health. We care about, trying to bring some kind of brightness to your day, even sometimes if we're talking about negative things, because we're talking about this real world icky stuff that takes place. We're consumed by it, and so even though we're consumed by it because we're trying to help, there's still a way to go about it to exist with the ingredients of muck, but you're not in the same water, like, I don't know how to explain it, bro.
I understand what you're saying, buddy. I think most people listening will understand.
We just already deal with it already enough, and there's no reason to keep adding more and more and more and more and more onto people's plates already, because we're trying to help each other. We're not trying to weigh each other down. And that emotion that you carry when you are existing in the false narratives and the finger pointing and the politics and all that stuff, it does weigh you down. It weighs us down because we weren't even part of the stuff going on back and forth, and it was weighing us down to the point where we were like last night, like, let's just do a game show, because it was weighing our
totally
mental health down, bro. You know, our own mental health was getting affected this weekend when it came to, and that's just because we were seeing it and we care. We weren't even a part of it. And it's like, oh my gosh, I could imagine what those people are feeling like while they're sitting there just trying to support the people that they love, and they're sitting there listening. Well, they said this about me, and and it's over and over and over and over and over and over, and it's like, I just want to laugh.
Show after show.
Yeah, I want to be able to sit down and hang out with my family and not listen to Bobby Sue complain about Sally. That's what it is.
That's what it is. And they go on rants about things that aren't even pertaining
and they get your emotions up, and can you believe they treat it, and they get your emotions up, and then it's just a continual thing night after night after night. And it weighs on you. It affects your mental health. And that does contribute to people having to take breaks, and why? We need as many soldiers out there as we can get. Take care of the people that you love, because you want them to be healthy, because you want them to be happy, because you want them to be around. That's the only way we can do this. It's not getting everybody together to get hate on one person and get the hoorah going. That energy only lasts for so long. You get that energy of people loving and working together and accomplishing goals. That's the energy that can take you far beyond your wildest dreams. That the anger energy only lasts for a short period of time.
Yeah, you can't run off of that very long. Before you're just going to be burnt out.
But it's just sad. You see that, they're having to come out with a statement now. About having to just listen. We're sitting here seeing all this stuff going on, and it's sad, because when you have organizations out there that are willing to help, just like people like us, you have people that are out there that are willing to help, and it's a constant hurdle every single step. It's wrong, and it's a disservice for Sebastian, because these people right here have a hell of a lot more resources than me and Trey combined, and they're backing out because of the stuff that you guys are seeing taking place, especially this last week. And they're seeing it, and they're like, it's not as much as we want them to be found, as much as we want to be a part of it, we literally have to back away. And that's sad. And think about if this was taking place to a parent of a missing child that wasn't getting the movement and attention that Sebastian is getting. And they're having somebody back away because of this kind of stuff. It's not cool, man. As much as I get, people want to be right. You're wrong, I'm right. People got egos. This is one of the things that's really bothering me about just, I hate to say it, a lot of the community, the true crime community. It's filled with nothing but it's breaking news that's not breaking. It's filled with the back and forth and the politics, and I'm right and you're wrong. And
the thing is, it's not even about who's right, because that doesn't bring him home.
No.
We're just trying to figure out the right avenues and the right direction to go. And then we get everyone's opinions. Sometimes it does help. Not always. Sometimes people say some very cruel things, but I still feel as like a community that everyone that's watching, together, us, Busby in the background there. I know he can't be with us right now because internet connections and all that, but one brain is great. Two is better. The more people you add to that and put it together, plus, we still need some information as far as like figuring out the facts, but.
Well, he didn't walk out of that house.
No, he did not. And the thing is, like, whether the police want to say that he did or didn't, or, but not no foul play and all that, by them saying that the dogs didn't track, that's literally like, okay, the dogs didn't track, so he lives in the house, so his scent should be there, but they didn't track anywhere. So he would have had been moved somehow, shape, or form by a way of travel other than walking.
Especially when you're talking about an Amber Alert as well on the 27th, the afternoon of the 27th.
So that was even delayed.
And I'm going to read this article. This is an article from a couple weeks ago, December 27th, and it's got a lot of interesting things that is stated in this article. And I'll go through that with you guys as well. First, I want to say contribution call out to Jennifer. Thank you for being a member for 5 months. And CJ and N.Divers, thanks for all your hard work. Can you clarify CP bro or cousins, CP apartment, hat found, retention pond, LE passed? CP bro or cousins, CP apartment. I'm not sure what you mean.
I don't know what that part means.
The hat found at retention pond, that can be for you. And then the LE passed. Yeah, the guy before Craddock passed away. I thought he hit his head, didn't he? Hit his head? Head injury? I thought it was.
I don't know. I remember they like
it was a long time ago.
The hat was a searcher's hat. So it was unfounded. I even made it like a
we kind of went through it. Yeah, we went through it in that episode. If you go back like a week or two ago, I don't remember what date it was, but we did a show on Trey's call with CP. Oh, it's
that's going to be on CJ's channel.
Was it the first episode we did? It was the first PF's interviews, and then we went into your call on one of them. Is either the first one or the second one. But you'll see Trey's call with CP on the thumbnail. Might have been the first one. Yeah, it might have been. But we actually, I think we went pretty deep into that too. Like first hour and a half, I think we went into the whole call and, kind of broke it down, I think, right?
Yeah, we went into it because then the hat's in there.
Yeah. So it was a hat for a security company.
Yeah, Vivint.
And then you can go ahead and just let it know.
It was unfounded. It was a Vivint security hat. So it had nothing to do with Sebastian, but it was from a searcher that was looking for Sebastian. How much time had passed from the time that had been dropped, lost, or whatever, I have no idea. But the hat was found in the retention pond. But it was not Sebastian's from the information that I've been told.
Isn't that weird? Isn't that kind of weird?
It is very weird. And the band
searcher loses the hat and doesn't look for it.
And or like grab it, like I don't know. That's what I thought. It was odd that it's a clothing article. You would think that you would like document it somehow, or at least go get a poll, something. But it was weird because I knew that, like, at the time, the mom had worked for a security company or something like that, and then like I didn't know what security company, and then the hat said Vivint, and I'm like, what is that? So I Googled it, and I'm like, oh my god! And then the band in the back was pulled tight, and I was like, okay, this is either a woman's hat or a small child's hat, because I was like, I remember being a kid, my head wasn't so big.
Yeah,
like you'd pull the band. Clip
you got the thing that sticks way out, so you got to fold it up and under.
Yeah.
That was the weirdest thing to me, though, is a searcher's hat. Maybe it did blow off, but wouldn't you? I mean, come on, it's surrounded by a fence. So if it was,
Plus, if
If
you're
it-
searching, like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
If
like
I get
you're
wet, I
gonna
get
know.
wet. If I get muddy, I get muddy. I'm already gonna be dressed for that.
You're just gonna leave the hat and be like, oh, okay. So then somebody's out there searching it like you, and then you're like,
And then
holy
I'm like,
shit,
oh my
what's this
god.
at? Right?
Yeah, I didn't want to, like, the position that it was in and everything. I was like, yeah.
Did it get kept?
Yeah, I turned that into the sheriff's office. There's not a video about that because there was no need for it. It was one of those things I kept hush hush because I had no idea at the time. But the sheriff's office came out, processed it, bagged it, and that was it. I had a body cam on and got my verbal statement, and that was it.
Bo and anybody else, this is what I'll say. Bo's asking, you don't think? I'm not saying that.
No idea.
What I'm saying is he didn't walk out of the house. He was taken.
Yeah, he wasn't driving.
How he was taken, whether it was an abduction or, like I've always said since I brought up, because when I first started covering this case, I said either abduction, something happened inside the house, or he walked out. After we were done with our searches in May, I took that he walked out part and removed it, because the two only other things that made sense was that he was abducted or something happened at the home. That's why I say he was taken, because whether it was something that happened at home or somebody came inside to take him, he was taken.
Yeah, either way, he was taken.
So I'm not going to say, because listen, the thing with this, we don't know any information. We don't even know the direction or time he left the house. We don't even know. So when we don't even know any details of time, location, direction, there's no signs, there's law enforcement states there's nothing to suggest, there's no video evidence. The video evidence that they do have, R.D. Craddock says, does not have any evidentiary value for the case for missing Sebastian Rogers. So there could be a whole bunch of possibilities. It could be any of them. It could be somebody from across the street. It can be somebody that's from Nashville. It could be somebody that's from 3 states away. So it could be so many possibilities, and that's the one unfortunate thing when it comes to only certain information being put out, especially if it's generalized, is that creates more theories, I should say, more avenues, more directions. So I'll just, I don't know. Only those people know what took place, whatever took place. Only those people know. But what I do know, and what I will always say, is I'm not going to say anybody's name, because who knows. But what I will say is he did not walk out of that house, and he was taken out of that house. Regardless of how he was taken and who took him or how it happened, he was taken. And that's what I'm going to stand on. Because there's nothing, just like there's no evidence to suggest something took place, there's also no evidence that will also suggest what didn't take place. And evidence that has not came forward, or has not been found, or has not been noticed, that also gives you an answer. It tells you he didn't walk out of the house.
I think anybody should be able to put that together.
There would have been, unless he was picked up from a coyote or something. All right? Let's be honest, because there's wild animals out there. But I don't think a coyote is going to be able to pick up Sebastian and overpower him like they usually do with small children. A coyote will come by and snag up a small child, and then they can take off. I don't see a coyote taking off with Sebastian. He didn't walk out of the house. Period. He was taken. And when you look at this was from the 27th of December. Okay. Article from WKRN.com. Search for Sebastian Rogers captivates Middle Tennessee in social media throughout 2024. Now listen to some of the stuff. It's very interesting. The search for Sebastian Rogers has been one of the biggest mysteries of the year. Investigators have upped the reward money to find the missing teen. People have flooded social media with possible sightings. Oh my gosh, we know. And the doctored photos disgust me when people are just doing it for self-attention. Still, Sebastian has yet to turn up as 2024 comes to a close. Sebastian was last seen at his Hendersonville home 10 months ago, and his disappearance has captivated Middle Tennessee. Now, did you notice that little key snippet right there? I thought it was kind of interesting because that's what we've been asking this whole time. Who knows? Maybe they're getting ready to come out with a new update. I doubt it. Social media honed in on a person in a green hoodie seen on video near Sebastian at a Hendersonville restaurant the night before he went missing. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office addressed the video earlier this month, writing in part, after a thorough discussion with this individual, there is no evidence linking them to Sebastian's disappearance. Which I was saying back then, if they're going to have a side camera in a restaurant, they're going to have a camera facing the door. Number one, they would have already, I would assume, vetted that person. When Sebastian was reported missing on February 26 from his Hendersonville home, several agencies spent more than a week searching, including a Kentucky landfill, with no signs of Sebastian. We are still committed to finding Sebastian and bringing him home safe. We have no leads, no details to indicate Sebastian is not alive, Sumner County Sheriff Eric Craddock said back in March. In September, Dwayne Chapman, better known as Dog the Bounty Hunter, joined the search for Sebastian, are adding star power and a global audience to the search. Experts seek to use of social media in search for missing Hendersonville teen. Now that we have Dog's team, he has a whole team of attorneys, lawyers, private investigators, said Seth Rogers, Sebastian's biological dad. In November, there was a possible lead. Someone reported seeing a boy who looked like Sebastian at a Goodlettsville motel. However, the sheriff's office determined that the sighting was, in fact, not Sebastian. Unfortunately, it wasn't Sebastian, but with that kind of movement and that kind of force, we're going to find Sebastian, said Seth. Father of missing Sumner County teen says he has renewed faith in law enforcement investigation. Sebastian's father spoke exclusively with News 2, and we showed you that interview, on December 7th, Sebastian's 16th birthday, saying law enforcement had given him renewed hope his son may one day be found. I thank the public for the support that they are giving me and that they continue to. Keep your eyes open. You can be the next person that might see him, said Seth. Now, when it comes to this statement right here, and this is why when we first had that when we first played that interview on December 7th, and he said that right at the end of the interview, and that's why I said the next night, man, after he said that, I'm feeling even more that there was an abduction. And why is that? Because when you look at the statement, you look at the renewed, just like I brought up on that show, renewed faith since April. Why? How all of a sudden, why would there be renewed faith? And then you look at this statement right here. Keep your eyes open. You can be the next person that might see him. To me, when you're looking at, and I brought all these other investigations when they're coming out to the public and you see people getting charged for child crimes, not only in Hendersonville, but the area, and they've been part of investigations that have been going on starting from the end of the summer into the fall and they're starting to make these things public, I really feel, when I heard this, I really felt that night, I said, I bet you a victim in one of these investigations said that they recognized Sebastian. You could be the next person.
That's what gets me.
That you can be the next person that might see him. Or, well, somebody did see him in the area of Stafford Court, Seth, the morning of February 26th, so we know he's out there. Are we still using that?
I would have, I mean, in my opinion, I would have to say.
That's what I'm wondering. Are you trying to create, and there's more to this, and we'll get to it in a second, but are you trying to create more fog? Because somebody's been screaming since April how you need to do a better job? Are you trying to use this? Hey, look, I know, listen. Somebody saw him in the morning, the day that you got there. Seth got there a short time after he left work. Seth was there when somebody saw Sebastian, bro. That's what you're telling me? That somebody saw Sebastian while Seth was out there looking for Sebastian? And he wasn't given a time or a location? Because when has Seth, on any of these interviews and any of these other shows, when has Seth ever said a time and location that somebody saw him that morning? Because don't you think Seth would have been told? Especially if he's out there searching?
You would
so
think.
when it comes to this renewed faith, I'm wondering, look, somebody saw him the morning. Somebody saw him that morning. Because on February 26th, N.Divers was putting this out along with them. But some Sumner County commissioner was putting out something else. February 25th, last seen with Mama. Keep it down is what they reported. Look, somebody saw him the morning. Oh, somebody did see him. Oh, okay. Well, maybe you could be the... I have to take this statement here in two ways. Either somebody, because it could only be two things. Either somebody seen him the morning of February 26th and nobody wants to answer, or there was a victim during one of their investigations that they've busted people over the last few months, because they don't make these kind of investigations public until the last. They keep these things on the lock, because you're talking about children, and these people, these predators literally are like underground, and they can feel the vibration up above them before it even gets to them. That's how they're So they're not even going to make this stuff public until they're ready to be like, okay, we can be done with this and move on. There's no more value keeping this a secret. It's got to be one or the other.
If I were to guess, I would think it would be the second one, because it would make it more recent.
Right.
Or else I wouldn't, like, just me personally, I wouldn't have, better hopes or better faith in law enforcement. But
since April?
Yeah. But if it was something more recent, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
Like we can.
Because that's where they were. That's why I initially first thought somebody noticed Sebastian. One of these victims in these busts that's been taking place noticed Sebastian, and that's where it came from. Because if it was renewed faith, this statement has been out since the very beginning. If it was renewed faith, they wouldn't have been able to say, look, somebody saw him that morning. But then again, no foul play. So you're going to think, well, there wasn't an abduction, right?
Right.
Because you don't have to keep the word abduction a secret. That includes foul play. You don't have to keep abduction, the word, secret if you're trying to keep others. It makes no sense. So then you're like, well, I mean, they're not putting out a statement that, no foul play. There's no signs, no leads, no direction. So then how could it be another victim recognize Sebastian that would give him that faith? And how could it also be this that has been stated from the very beginning about somebody last saw him on the morning of February 26th? So then you go, what is that renewed faith from then?
If you don't want information to scare certain people, bad actors away,
no foul play.
I would keep I'm going to call it a circus, but I would keep the circus of information going if I didn't want the people to get scared.
What do you mean? Because there's no foul play.
Well, I know I'm saying, like, by saying there's no foul play, if there were bad actors, you wouldn't want them to get nervous or scared and leave up and move. So you just keep going with that narrative.
There's no foul play. There's no reason for anybody to get scared.
That's what I'm saying. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying if they're theoretically, whether there is or isn't, but if there was, I definitely wouldn't put out to the public that there was. If they had an idea.
What they're putting out doesn't make sense. None of it. None of it makes sense. What they're putting out, just like this statement, none of it makes sense. The fact that they're putting out no foul play doesn't make sense. There's so much stuff that doesn't make sense. And we're sitting here going back to the fog, right? The fog. It's everywhere. It's no matter where you turn, you're seeing fog.
Keeps you in a haze.
And what's the fog meant to do? Create a barrier between you being able to see the truth. So even if you look this way,
yeah, you're not going to be able
to. There's fog. I can't see the truth. If I look this way, behind me, it doesn't matter what direction. I can't see the truth because there's all this fog. How come out of all these different things is there all this fog? And also, why is there all this fog when it's about finding a missing child?
There shouldn't be.
There's only one reason. There's only one reason. I'm not going to say it, but you know what you can get to where, you can get to where I'm getting.
I already know.
There's only one reason. Yeah, like dazed and confused. Now this one says dirty blonde hair. Shout out to WKRN. Now it says he was last seen February 26th near Stafford Court. Basically what this TBI is stating. Now it says here, Amber Alert issued, and this is the important part as well. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, TBI, originally issued an endangered child alert for Sebastian on the morning of February 26th as multiple, which is, it says February 27th down here. Multiple agencies took to the area to look for him based on additional investigative information developed during the search. TBI issued an Amber Alert for Sebastian on the afternoon of February 27th. Now look, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation had told WKRN, this is where the dates matter again. ladies and gentlemen. They first told WKRN that the Amber Alert was issued on February 26th. Then, as they've gone on and probably wanted to recheck all of the stuff to make sure that they were going to quote all of the correct stuff in this article, wait a minute, but it was actually the 27th. Okay? Now, see how that date and that date, you go back to the dates we're talking about on the other statement, and it's, well, more fog, right? Look at the statement right here when it comes to when he was last seen. Again, they said last seen February 26th near Stafford Court, and they also said last seen, where's that part? Right here. Last seen at his Hendersonville home. So there's two different locations. The dates, these dates. So based off of them looking more into it, February 27th in the afternoon, not the morning of February 26th, okay? Not the morning of the 26th.
The afternoon of the 27th.
The afternoon of the 27th. An Amber Alert is issued when there is reasonable belief by law enforcement that an abduction has occurred and the child is in imminent danger of serious bodily injury or death per the DOJ. Multiple agencies, including the TBI, Tennessee Highway Patrol, Nashville Fire Department, City of Hendersonville's first responders, Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and Shackle Island Volunteer Fire have assisted in the search. Isn't this a very interesting article as well when we're talking about inconsistencies of dates, times, and statements? Again, fog. Why all the fog for a missing child's case when this lady says right here?
Anything that we can provide the public up front, or if we have search teams that are out looking immediately after a child goes missing, the more information that we can give the search teams or law enforcement, hopefully the quicker we're going to find the child. If a child has a blanket, that might be something that sticks out. When we push this out to the public, and we can give them something to look for, whether it be a blanket or a stuffed animal or a toy or a favorite location, somewhere near the house, a park, something that is going to attract that child in a true missing case where they ran away. That's going to give the public anything that we have, we are going to share with the public to recover them, hopefully quicker.
Some bitch. That's a doozy, ain't it?
Yeah.
They got themselves in a doozy. It's unfortunate. And we're talking about a missing child, you know? And if I already know that this same stuff is going on to another family.
I guarantee you, man. If it's
that
this
doesn't
blatant,
have the movement.
if this blatant with Sebastian, I can imagine. Especially, I don't want to say people without the means, but people without means to just put, make sure that their case is, their missing child is actually being handled the way it's supposed to.
And why no time and location? So when that doesn't make sense, and it doesn't make sense why nobody's getting a response within the last couple weeks of different people sending out the same questions of statements, that they themselves put out, inconsistencies all put together, just asking which one's true and which one isn't.
Yeah, they
Very,
don't reply at all.
very simple. Which one's true, which one's not. And nobody gets a response. That is a response. And I think what it is that they know they're going to have to come out with an updated statement. And I think right now, before they answer any of those, I'll just call them multiple choice because it's really that easy. It really is.
The way you got it broke down is multiple choice. I mean, it's just choose. And here's the facts that you put out, or at least I call it facts, but here are the statements that you put out. Choose which ones that you want to stick with as of today. It's not like you're asking something that can't be answered.
I did it for a reason. Because I wanted to collect all the information, put it together in categories.
That makes sense.
Allow different multiple choices where you made it very simple and easy. Is this true or not? I'm not asking a specific, a lengthy question that involves some kind of, lengthy response. No, it's basically what's true and what's not. Where was he last seen? What time? And I'll display that. If you guys haven't seen it, I'll display it so you guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll kind of go through them just real quick. And literally, you can just copy from to all law enforcement agencies involved, all the way down to the clarifying that Sebastian and his loved ones deserve. And I'll highlight what you can literally copy and paste and send to yourself. And I encourage anybody to do so, because really, if the people that have done it already aren't getting a response, maybe they ain't going to respond to me or somebody else, but maybe the 450th person that sent the damn thing will get a response. At least somebody will get a response, and at least there'll be an updated statement, because there needs to be. And this is what right here. Here, let me move us over here. Might not be able to here. Basically, with it highlighted, I don't think it shows up as good. Basically, to all law enforcement agencies involved, all the way down to this ending paragraph right here. How it's for Sebastian and his loved ones. This is the episode that I went through all the different statements. If you wanted to see it for yourself, there's the link for that episode where I break it all down, so that way everybody can understand, like, this is why I'm asking these things and this is why we're doing this. It says, to all law enforcement agencies involved in the missing persons case for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, please let the public know which of these statements are true, not true, don't exist anymore, or cannot be commented further on, and why if able. These are all statements from law enforcement involved and N.Divers mixed together to ask for the ultimate truth for information. Now, this one I had to do a softball. It's a softball. You always have to throw out a softball the first pitch. First pitch, the morning of February 26th. Now, this is what was in the statement. The morning of February 26th, Sebastian was reported missing, and an Amber Alert was issued. His cell phone, shoes, and belongings were still in the house. He was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt, black sweatpants, and glasses. Sebastian is a 15-year-old white male, 5'5", tall, 120 pounds, with brown hair, and there's other statements that say dirty blonde and brown eyes. So Sebastian is autistic and may not be able to return safely without assistance. So my first was dirty blonde hair or brown hair, because I think it's important when it comes to details on a unified statement instead of
Yeah, it's very important. I mean,
they're two different hair colors, just like there's two different eye colors. You gotta say the right, But of course, that's a softball. This is the next statement. Sebastian was living with his mother and stepfather when he disappeared on the night of February 25th at 10 p.m. The mother reported hearing a thud from his room, at which point the mother called out to him to keep it down, or "Are you okay, bub?" which she claims he responded. And I put 4 options, and which is true and which is not true, or which didn't happen, right?
Right.
Just like I listed up above. Mother, number 1, mother was last person to see him at 10 p.m. February 25th. Is that true or not true, right? Number 2, was there a thud or no thud? Number 3, in response to the thud, keep it down. In response to the thud, are you okay? Which one is it? Question 3, this statement, Sebastian was last seen earlier today, February 26th. Number 1, in the area of Stafford Court in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Number 2, Beach Shackle Island near Long Hollow Pike. Number 3, Beach High School in Hendersonville. Or number 4, last seen with his mother on February 25th. Which is true and which is not true? And I think this is the question right here, ladies and gentlemen, that we're not getting a reply to our questions. This specific question right here has also been sent out and not gotten a response in return. Just this question by itself without all of the other ones. Same non-response. So question 4, this is my own, because this is what from Ken Widener's statement on March 26th. Is it true that turned out to be false on search dispatch audio from February 26th? Is it true that the canine scent trails and hits for Sebastian the morning of February 26th and beyond were true or not true? And also, the witnesses seeing Sebastian outside of his residence on the morning of February 26th, because those same locations are on the dispatch audio during the dog hits, are the same locations that are listed right here. Beach Shackle Island near Long Hollow Pike, Beach High School in Hendersonville, Tennessee. We already know last seen at home with his mom on February 25th, and it became in the area of Stafford Court ever since. So which out of those is true and not true? And just like the witness is stating, guess what? If they were not true on dispatch audio, which is what we're asking, guess what that means? That means they need to say what time and location were the witness sightings of Sebastian on the morning of February 26th. Because if the witness sightings on the dispatch were not true, right?
Yeah.
Then that means that somebody did see him, and there should be a time and a location. Regardless, these 2 last questions right here, especially the third one, I believe are the reasons why none of us are getting a response to our messages. And I feel the reason that is because then it would deviate from the statement that is right in front of our face. Because once they answered, I believe that this becomes an outdated statement. Why else would they take 2 weeks and counting with no reply when some people even reached out with that one question, question 3, in that whole paragraph. Not even that question is getting a response.
Trying to get their stuff together. They're not going to answer, or they might come out with a totally different statement.
No answer is an answer. No answer is an answer. I myself, the first one, never even got a response beyond the automated response that you automatically get as soon as you hit send. Other people are actually getting, hey, you got to put the tip to TBI this location, We're not trying to turn in a tip. They're the ones that are able. We're not trying to turn in a tip. We have a question. You answered the question for the lady a couple weeks ago. Was he last seen on February 25th or 26th? And then a couple hours later, Sebastian was last seen on February 26th. Okay, thank you. Yeah, guess what? CJ came out with a freaking letter. Yeah, and I didn't just ask you a question. I took everything that you people said and put it together. I didn't come up with nothing. None of them were created from me. I took every little snippet from and like I said, the link is in the community post. You can go right to the episode and you can see me break it all down. Why the fog? In all the different directions. Why the fog when it comes to the response of when he was last seen? And if it really was at any of those locations. These right here. When we're listening to this lady, hopefully recover him quickly, get the information, the public, the most information, blanket key detail. Excuse me. Blanket key details. Key details. Toy. You're talking about people mentioning a toy, but you won't mention a time and date, foul play or none? And I can't wait for the response to those questions because I already have my response to that. Because
I hope they answer you. Like, I truly do. But
I hope they come out with a new statement
instead of answering you directly.
Well, I mean, yeah, right here. Right here, we need a new updated statement. We can handle the truth. We need a new updated statement from LE. They need to make an updated statement because this one that we keep seeing is outdated.
Yeah, I think if they did, it would help. I believe it would help.
So if anybody, I encourage, listen, none of us are getting answers. None of us are getting replies. People are getting deflected and dismissed. Who does that? Who gaslights community? That's what it is it not? Are we not being gaslit? I can answer this person's message a couple hours later regarding the same kind of question, just not with facts stated from other people involved that made inconsistent statements. Then it's a problem.
And your questions are their words, though.
Yeah. So all of these are their statements. I went through that in that live right down here. You can click on it and it'll take you right to it. Hour and 51 minutes. I knocked it out. I'm like, Let's go through it all, because I want people to really, like, because anybody can come across this community post and be like, oh, you know, whatever. But if you watch the video and you see me go through every single one of them, give you the dates and who, and you know, it really, and then you mix that with it being your own loved one with this kind of statement and these kind of inconsistencies, and and this is all you get, and this is your family, and this is what you get. If you haven't watched the video, please do, because it really hits home when you sit there and you see all of that stuff together. And it's like, no. And there's nothing disrespectful in that letter. It's all legitimate questions. It's all trying to find the truth and help. There's nothing disrespectful, out of line. Nothing's even made up. I literally just, after going through them, I sat back and I'm like, there's so many inconsistencies. I need to write a letter, because if this was my loved one, this is what I'd be doing. I'd be writing a letter.
It's an honest letter, though. I mean, you'd think it could be answered, unless they are going to come out with a statement.
This is what I ended it with. Law enforcement, please make a new updated statement that reflects all the discoveries or recants as of the date that I posted it on the community post, January 4th, 2025. It's the 13th, y'all, and I put this post after I already wrote the letter. I just didn't want to put the post out there until I was going to have the show, because I wanted people to check out the show so then they understood the severity of the post and the questions. You see what I'm saying? It is of the utmost importance for Sebastian, the community, the family, and the world, for everyone to have the most truthful and updated information regarding Sebastian's missing persons case, to ultimately find him in a timely fashion with the absolute clarity that Sebastian and his loved ones deserve. And then I ended it, thank you, CJ. Yeah, you can, Krama.
Hopefully they come out with a statement, man. Maybe clarify some stuff.
They better.
I hope.
They better. Because, dude, I'm telling you, like, look, you're seeing you're seeing the emotion in me right now. And this isn't even, I've never met Sebastian. You know what I'm saying? I never met him. I never seen him. I never met him. And if this is how strongly I feel, bro, imagine if it was my kid. Bro.
You're just doing the right thing, though. And you think that it would, from people or from agencies that you look up to, they're supposed to help you. You think that it would have been set right the whole time. Like you wouldn't have to go ask the questions, but
this lady right here, you know what I'm saying?
She breaks down like the standard, basically, like their standard. That didn't happen.
No, and it's a disservice. It's a disservice. And that's why when I'm sitting here and this was like a month ago, maybe, it was really started to bother me as I'm looking at this, and it just really started to bother me, and I'm like, no.
It eats at you because you're like,
I'm like, no. We need to talk about this. We need to push this. This needs to take place, because this is some BS. And then, just like our hearts, because we're empaths, you know, that's how we're able to do what we do. I'm sitting there going, what about the mom in the middle of Montana and her son's missing? or her daughter's missing, and they have the same bullshit, general bullshit for a statement when there was somebody that last saw their kid. And then I'm like, man, and they don't even have the movement that Sebastian does. And I'm like, because I could sit back and be like, hey, you know, it's the 26th, 25th, you know, blah, 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 blah. But guess what? No, this isn't about just Sebastian. This is about every missing loved one and somebody's family member having to accept this BS. And you can't even put when my loved one was last seen and where, because it doesn't hamper any investigation. None of them. That's some bullshit.
It only helps. I remember when we first went down there, people were showing me different things on their phones, and I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, is it the 25th or the 26th? And it's like, because it's all from credible sources. And
people in the investigation, yeah.
Yeah, from the get-go. I'm like, never got sorted out.
No.
I hope they answer you. Or at least say, hey, we're going to come out with a statement or something.
If he wasn't seen on February 26th, go back to what you see right here.
There you go.
Because you didn't, the dog hits and the dog scent trails didn't exist. You went back, and we went back to there not being any directions. And this is why that video a long time ago, I said they're coming out to you with half truth when it comes to this statement. And what I mean by that is that they're coming out and telling you that he was last seen, like they were telling people there was dog hits and dog scent trails. And then when they had to take it back about the dog and the scent, well, we found out that the witness statements on the dispatch audio from that morning also were not true. But let's not take it back. Let's just keep it to in the area of Stafford Court the next morning, so that way it doesn't go back to this. And if it went back to this, then that's a different ball game.
Totally different ball game. Okay.
It could be another thing. Create a bunch of fog, so then the investigation doesn't go back to day one and how we fucked it up. And that's why we don't have any information, which means he won't ever be found.
Because they didn't treat it as such.
We don't want the attention. We don't want the attention of not securing the scene properly in the neighborhood. He'll just be one of those kids that's always going to be missing. Because we don't look at the landfill search, bro. No personal protective equipment, no hazmat suits, no grid searches, no buckets to put stuff of interest in to sift through it. Nothing. Barely any of them even had blue latex gloves on, bro. And you're out there in trash?
Walking around.
Nope. Hey, just do me a favor. Just go up there and look around for a second. No search warrant, because we haven't heard of a search warrant, right? Hey, there's a missing kid, and the trash truck guy said it was a little heavy. Listen, we don't think there's anything to it. We don't want to go through the hassle of trying to get a search warrant and have to shut you down. Yeah, have to shut you down.
Probably going, good God. Come on. Like, What?
Do me a favor. Yeah, just can you do us a favor? Just keep your trucks away from this little specific spot for us for maybe an hour or something. We're just going to take a look real quick, not do a real search. We're just going to try and take a look around Well, then why in the fuck are you telling people that you searched the landfill when I talked to a damn cop that was there and she said, I don't even want to say the words that she told me when it comes to the effectiveness and the quality of that search that she was observing as somebody that was setting up a perimeter around the area.
It's crazy how the world works, man. Because who would have known that those events would take place to where you got to talk to that officer?
Yeah, it was a what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm going down to look for Sebastian and we're going through this area today. And she's like, that's crazy because I was there that day. It was just a chance encounter. She's like, I was there that day. And she was like, man, it was crazy. And I was like, I know. I said, I heard this was, when was this? This was, it was like July or August or something. And she was, and I was like, yeah, I was like, I always heard, I was like, you see the photos from the drone and you see that there's just like blue latex gloves and that's it. And I was like, that's the craziest thing to me. And I said, you think about Quentin Simon, and how with that grid pat, the grid search and how they were all out there with suits and different things set up, for, hey, this looks, we got to sift through this, whatever. And I was like, it was crazy. They weren't even wearing hazmat suits. And she's like, yeah, it was a bullshit foolery of a search. I'll tell you that right now. And I was like, oh, for real? And she's like, yeah. She's like, they weren't fucking searching. And I'm like, well, I mean, on the camera, you can just kind of see him kind of lifting up a couple things. It wasn't even like they were digging down, right? Because like we talked earlier about the landfill system, there's a lot of compacting going on and squishing and all sorts of stuff,
You'd be doing a grid, and you'd probably be marking it off with the ropes. So
you would have
lay out
to
your grid.
Yeah, you're not just looking at surface material, you know what I mean? And that's, and I was like, yeah, I didn't. She's like, pfft. She said most of them were out there just talking.
The good old boys.
Just a couple people were lifting up stuff. She goes, I don't even consider it a search because it wasn't a search. There was no grid pattern. And I'm like, yeah, that you could tell there was no grid pattern because when you're looking at it, there's people in clusters here and there, and most
take a lot of pictures.
Yeah, most of them ain't doing the same thing. It wasn't so.
Method to the madness.
Man. And you just, and then you just see all the.
Man, that part still, that's gonna haunt me forever.
Well, I wish more people would bring this up, man. I mean, I've been talking about it for.
Well, we just say
a good month now, and
I hate to say it like this, but say that is what happened. Yeah.
It doesn't.
I mean, it doesn't sit easy with me. Like they said, they searched, so it's okay. They already cleared the landfill. It's like cool, but then you find out.
How can you clear it? You know what I'm saying? How can you even clear it?
Then you find out later on that it may have not been the best of a search. I wasn't there, so I don't know. So there's that.
The camera was.
Yeah.
And the camera showed you there was no hazmat. There was. I'll play when you come back on. I'll find the video because I'd have to dig through my stuff. On the next time you come back on, I'm gonna play you the video, bro. You haven't seen the video of the landfill search?
I think I've seen like a.
Or after the show, just look up the landfill
like
search for Sebastian.
Minute or two video of it, but it was like where they're panning from the neighborhood to the landfill to the search, like back to the search, like around.
That's all you need, man. That's all you need is a pan, and you can see there's What kind of search is that? Again, this is for a missing kid.
It's sad, man.
There's a disservice going on.
Yeah,
For Sebastian.
They could have got so much help with that landfill.
They could have. You can request FBI.
If they would have said, "Hey, Kentucky,"
who do you think did the search for Quentin? FBI.
Well, I'm just saying, like, going into their jurisdiction, like, they could have got all the help, especially if there was like, "Hey, it's a kid." They would have got state troopers, like local cops in they're in that area, plus their guys, FBI, CSI guys that actually know how to go through it. And you would think they would be like, you could, like, as far as like the section that would have dumped in that amount of time, they literally probably could have shut that area down, and the rest of the landfill probably could have stayed open, like within reason.
Yeah, but how many times has that landfill been searched for a car?
That's true.
So they probably, when you got, they probably never went through that before. They got law enforcement kind of saying, look, we don't want to have to, the warrant's going to take a time, this and that. We got to wait for a judge. We're not going to try and get you shut down for a couple hours or the day. Can you just do us a favor? Give us the area that this trash would have been put in. Can you just maybe not have the trucks driving around for an hour or something? Just let us just take a quick look. We're not even doing a search, so-called, but we're going to promote it to communities like we did this landfill search that was performed on March 7th. Bro, how compact would that trash be on March 7th? If he was in the trash on February 26th, man? You can't just walk on a landfill and pick up a plate that's laying on the top of garbage, bro.
Starts getting layered and crushed down too.
Yes.
And moved and pushed.
Yes. And for all we know, he could be in the damn landfill, bro, because they didn't do what they were supposed to. And imagine if there's another missing child out there, and there is, because there's endless possibilities of this shit happening, and there's family out there that are having this same shady fog crap going on, and they're having to just accept it.
Yeah, because they're the ones that hold the keys.
Because they don't have the power that Sebastian's community has to bring this to awareness. And so by helping Sebastian's community bring in awareness to this, that gives that family in the middle of Montana some ammunition to go to their law enforcement agency and say, no, they didn't have to take it. We're not taking it. You see what I'm saying? I hope this because this needs to be. Listen, this is why they're expecting us to take no reply and walk away. And this is why I hope
that's
it becomes more of a so we just give up. And this is why I hope. This is why community can make things happen. This is why that's why I put it as a community post. You can literally just copy and paste it and send it off. You can literally go to the community post and pull it up on your own show. You know what I'm saying? Pull it up on your own show. Discuss it. You can go to the video that's linked into it, and you can even play that video to show your community of me going through all the different statements of how I got to the letter. That's the only way that they are going, because right now they're expecting us
to just roll over.
Right.
They can't ignore everybody, though.
We need more people.
Backlog.
We need more people. We need more channels to be talking about this. We need more people to be bringing it up. We need this to be more of a conversation, because each day that it's just this small conversation here is another day that they get to go on and keep using the last seen in the area of Stafford Court without any accountability to Sebastian, his family, or the community that they're supposed to protect and serve.
They're just spreading that misinformation.
It's making me get all worked up right now just thinking about it, because I keep thinking, like, man, if this was my baby, and I have this platform, and it happened to my baby. I told people I'd have a 24-hour 7 feed. You would maybe see me once in a little bit, but it would constantly be showing photos of her. It'd be constantly putting up the information, the statements, the times, the directions, photos.
Everything.
I mean, everything, man. Everything. It would just be this rolling freaking awareness channel. And then I might come on here and there and talk about stuff. But really, it would just be, you know what I mean? That's the first thing I thought of when I even started thinking about this. Is like, man, if this happened, I would have to use this platform and just have a rolling feed of updated photos, you know, just showing people all these different photos and, you know, just putting out the statements every, you know, minute and a half, and just, you know, and I'd be I don't understand it. I really don't. But when we wait 2 weeks and none of us have gotten a reply, I'm going to say what I say tonight. Because no answer is an answer. And it wasn't just a no answer to me. It's a lot of dismiss and deflect and no answer to everybody that has sent this out. It's a disservice to Sebastian. It's a disservice to any missing loved one out there that has to also have these generalized statements be put out for no reason. And that's the biggest. The family that doesn't have the movement that Sebastian's does, that's a tragedy. Big time.
It happens every day.
To have to be in a position where you have to accept it because there's no other voices that can speak on your behalf. That's like I'm not going to compare it. I keep my mouth shut. So he didn't walk out, people.
No, obviously, if you have any type of brain cells, you put 2 and 2 together that he did not walk out of the house.
Yeah.
And that's coming from law enforcement, whether they want to say it or not. Based off the statements that they have put out, the dogs didn't track. That's enough for me. The dogs did not track, and that's from the emergency management director. So he either flew, drove. He didn't drive. So what else does that tell you? Hate to be like that, but like CJ was saying, sometimes an answer is an answer.
2 weeks later. Why 2 weeks?
Yeah, this doesn't. When other people get a reply back,
Relatively
quick.
Multiple people. If any of you guys send it out and you get a response, take a screenshot and send it to me. Listen, I don't care who gets the response. I really don't. It's about having an updated statement, because it's obvious there needs to be an updated statement. I don't care who gets the reply. I really don't. I just want, because look, the quicker we have an updated statement, the quicker we're finding Sebastian.
Yep.
TBI lady said it herself. And that's what it's about. And any family that are victims or loved ones that have a missing loved one and they're getting the same kind of generalized BS. I'm sorry, I want. Ain't no time and location going to hinder my investigation or anybody else's investigation. It's going to do nothing but help. And why that information is not displayed, why that information is not replied to, makes absolutely no sense. Because that should be one of the key, besides the name, the height, the weight, the color, and the clothing, it should also, just as important, is the time and the location for missing people. All of those are equally as important. No reason why two of them are not included.
There's reasoning, I guess, to why, but can't answer that one right now.
Nope. All we can do is wait for law enforcement. And like I said, I've been waiting, and I already know the only options they have available for responses. And I already have a response already made up for that response and all the other ones that they want to supply. I'm already covered, and I'm already covered for the responses after that response, after all those other responses that I could possibly get. Trey knows how I do it.
Oh, I know.
Trey knows. You know how
I already know it. Yeah. I won't say too much because I don't want to. Yeah. I want a response, and like CJ said, it doesn't matter who gets the response as long as they answer.
Because it's about Sebastian.
Like
It's about Sebastian. It's about any loved one that has this, going on. So, I want to say thank you all for hanging out. Appreciate it very much. We saw a lot of new faces, so thank you all for checking out the channel. If you're not subscribed to either one of us, please consider doing so. Here's his link if you're on my side. And we'll do it again on the next night you have off, man. And I'll make sure that we go through that landfill footage. But check it out after we're done, bro.
And then I'm gonna see if I can
do a video on it when we're done. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous, bro.
I gotta be careful how deep I go down the rabbit hole because I'll get kicked off YouTube. I get frustrated, man, and I gotta hold back a lot of emotion, not say a whole lot about how I'm feeling about something, because once I start, I'll be calling you bail money.
Yeah.
I took it.
Yeah.
I think everybody knows what I'm trying to say. It just Sebastian, the information is flooded with BS. The Sebastian facts, and that's it. And he deserves to be found. Yeah. So I will leave that at that.
And speaking of the cuffs and stuff, if you guys didn't check out the show we had last night, check out our episodes from last night. And you'll understand why I asked Trey if he had any back or neck issues in the beginning of the show. But we'll be doing that again soon. It's a good time, y'all. We had to just take a break from the true crime. There's just so much mudslinging going on back and forth, even though we're not a part of it. It's discouraging to see, and it affects everybody, and even our own mental health was like, man, it
was a bit much.
It was, man. This weekend, it was just like, my gosh, this is just going overboard.
People try to go fishing and then reel you in. And then get even more furious whenever it doesn't work.
Yeah, but
we don't have enough time for it.
It's part of the gig. That's why we care about you, and we want to make sure that we do what we do for you all. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thanks for being here. Thanks, CJ.
Yeah, love you guys. Love you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Love you.
We will do this again whatever night you're off next, and we'll get into that other shit, bro.
Coming up.
Yeah, and we'll see. Maybe we'll have.
Hopefully, we have the help.
Maybe we'll have a reply. And like I said, if I'm not doing a show, I'll come out with a little video or a post or something. If I'm not doing a live and there is a response, I'll let you guys know ASAP. But if you don't hear a response until the next show, you know what that means. And that's just another day longer when we really could be putting out the specific information to try and find him even quicker. And that's even from their words. You saw it tonight. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Please hit the like if you haven't. We'll see you on the next one.
Okay over there? Is your victim at the hospital? Someone shot there. Alright, the ET doesn't take pictures of the, is it domestic related? She's calling back. We're going to try to give her a call again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Now that was it.
2412.
Someone calling in for the name of the female. There's some medication. Detecting 12, take the check them out.
614,
Officer, stay at the stop. Anyone else qualified for us, let me know. First time by. 10-4. Where's the 47.